S-Force. Now, on these, I'm gonna need your help a little bit because I have no idea what S-Force does, quite frankly. You're gonna have to give me some context for some of these cards, I'm gonna be honest, because I don't know much about S-Force. But there is S-Force support in Chaos Origin. We're back to Chaos Origin now. S-Force Cygnus. Level 3 Light Warrior effect monster. 1600 attack. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add an S-Force monster from your deck to your hand, except Cygnus. Then, if an opponent's monster is in this card's column, you can draw a card. Ooh, I like that. Little bonus effect going second. Love me some of that. Nice. I mean, simple. On summon, add, and also potentially draw a card. Big fan of that. If an opponent's monster activates its effect in the same column as your monster, you can make S-Force monsters gain 1000 attack. Okay. Second effect is sometimes relevant. 1000 attack is a lot, sometimes. In some game states. I mean, yeah, that could make a difference. It's not like a trivial second effect that never matters, but it's definitely about the first effect on this card. I mean, simple, effective, better, and when you're going second, I love that. Okay, that's cool. Okay, S-Force Origin, normal spell. Wait, that's it? 2 cards? S-Force Origin, normal spell card. You can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. Special in S-Force from hand, grave, or banishment, but banish it when it leaves the field. If another card becomes banished while this card's in your grave, banish it. Take 2 S-Force cards from your deck, except S-Force Origin. Banish one of them, send the other to the grave. Oh, there's more? Okay. Special in S-Force from hand, grave, or banishment. Banish it when it leaves the field. If another... Okay, I know that S-Force is about banishing, but it's hard for me to evaluate how good this card is because, of course, this card, unfortunately, has one of the worst traits in modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is that if you open it at the start of the game, it is not activatable. So I guess you can summon it as... Actually, it's not true. From hand, you can summon with it. So in 2-card combos, it is activatable. I feel like the good part here is the second effect, but I'm not sure. But where are the other S-Force cards? You guys are saying, oh, dude, why did I scroll past it? There was a lot of stuff in here. Okay, well, I scrolled past it. My bad. S-Force Night Slayer, which is a Link 2 Dark Psychic. It needs 2 monsters, including an S-Force. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is special, you can add an S-Force spell trap from deck to your hand. Okay. Quick effect, you can banish this card you control and an S-Force card from your hand. Special summon an S-Force from your deck or extra deck, except S-Force Night Slayer. Ooh, from extra deck. Okay. Quick effect, too. It's not until the end phase, so it's gone forever. You can bring it back, though. That's probably what you're supposed to do, right? Is that like the gameplay loop? You're supposed to summon the Link 2, search the new spell, then you can banish it, and then you can use the spell to bring it back, and then you can do it again on the opponent's turn. Maybe. They have some cards that mitigate hand costs by banishing themselves from grave. Ah, is it like if you would banish a card from your hand to activate an S-Force, you can banish this card from your grave instead? All right. Okay. S-Force Mystify. Link 3 Cybers. Ooh, nice. Cybers. Materials. 2 monsters, including an S-Force. 2+ monsters, including S-Force. You can only use the second effect once per turn. While an opponent's monster is in this card's column, your opponent cannot target this card's card effects. Also, they cannot special summon monsters using activated monster effect. They cannot special monsters using monster effects. Okay, that's potentially really good, depending on the matchup. No nib. It does exclude Nibiru. It does also, I mean, it works against a lot of cards in the format, right? Like you think of like Bimena, Mululu doesn't work. Even Fallen of White can't activate. Yeah. All right. Quick effect, you can target one monster on the field, move it to another of its controller's main... Ah, okay. This is a much easier way to enable it, I suppose, because I was like, okay, well, it's a Link 3. you're gonna have to summon it into an extra monster zone. And so your opponent can just play around it by not putting a card in the same column. But if you can just move anything, then you can get this effect pretty consistently. I mean, this is the type of card that, like, it's very polarizing because in some matchups it's going to be crazy, and in some other matchups it's just not going to do anything, right? Because some decks are more reliant on this than others. But I think for the most part, like, most decks will be impacted by it a little bit, right? It's hard to think of a deck that doesn't care about this, right? But it's also, as far as floodgates go, I'm not going to call it interesting because it's not, but it does at least give your opponent the caveat of, well, this only applies to me while I have a monster in this card's column. So if they can just link off that monster or crash that monster or whatever, overlay, synchro with it, you can just free up the column, and then there's that. Doesn't this card hard counter Malice? Yeah, it would. I mean, yeah, but like, here's the thing. Once again, like, if your opponent has a monster in the column of this card, if they can just make a link 1 with that monster, then that's gonna be it, right? I think this card is maybe at its most powerful if you summon it out with the quick effect of this card in response to something, right? Like, let's say your opponent, but this is going to be very situational, but let's say your opponent activates Phimena, right? And you chain Night Slayer to summon this card in a column where your opponent also has a monster, then you're basically negating the Phimena, right? Because it's gonna try to resolve, but it cannot resolve. The problem is that only works if your opponent plays into a column that you can summon the Mystify into, right? Check S-Force Justify, check S-Force Edge Razor. Dude, on S-Force. I didn't want to spend my day reading S-Force cards. S-Force. Which one's S-Force Justify? And Edge Razor. Okay. 3 effect monsters, including an S-Force. You cannot summon said monsters to a zone this card points to. Quick effect. Target a face-up effect monster your opponent controls. Negate its effect until the end of the end. Then you can move that monster to a zone this card points to. Yeah, okay. Seems mediocre. Edge Razor. Each of your opponent's monsters in the same column as an S-Force cannot be used as material for a link sum. Okay, this stops them from linking off the card. Oh no, cannot be used as a link material for a link 3 or higher. Wait, they can still make link 1 and 2s. Never mind. If this card's normal or special, an S-Force from your hand. Why do you guys tell me to read these cards? They don't matter. Okay. S-Force Sorted World. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If you would banish a card from hand to activate the effect of an S-Force, you can send an S-Force from deck to grave instead, except Sorted World. If another card becomes banished, you can target a card in your opponent's field or grave, banish it, then you can move one of your S-Forces to another main monster zone. It's very hard to wrap my head around these cards. I don't even want to make a call on whether this is going to be good or not, because this is probably one of the archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh! That I know the least about. So my opinion on this, quite frankly, doesn't matter. The Link 2 seems good to me. The Link 3 is a very situational, weird floodgate for random parts of the game, which I'm not a fan of, but I also don't think it seems that good. And quite frankly, besides Cygnus, I don't really feel like they've gotten anything really strong here. But yeah, they have a Light Fiend and a level 6 spellcaster. That's all you need to know. Oh, so it can be Fiendsmith combo and it can be Dark Magician of Destruction. That's awesome. I can't wait for S-Force. All right, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't want to look into S-Force much right now because I don't have that much faith from all the cards that I've seen before. And I don't really think these new cards change the way I look at this deck. It's not something... The whole banishing stuff and trying to arrange cards in the same column is kind of fun to me, but almost like to the point where it feels too gimmicky. And then the payoff is mostly random floodgates. It's like, oh, everything in the same column is negated, or everything in the same column can't, like, you can't summon with monster effects. And I don't know, not something I really vibe with so much. They can play Shifter too. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm not doing this deck justice, but everything you guys say makes me want to play it less. Gravitino is a pseudo dimensional fissure. Case in point. All right, let's move on.